Hello and welcome to my JKD Academy. My name is Sifu George Hajnasa. What I'd like to introduce to you today is the actual Mukyeonjong. And the Mukyeonjong is the actual wooden man dummy. And I got my friend here, Su Yi, whatever her name is. She's a very good friend of mine. She's here from Boston. She came to visit me from Hawaii, but she actually speaks Cantonese fluent. So she was, you were born here, but your parents from Hong Kong?
Right.
Okay, so she's here to help me out. So every time I get stuck, I actually call her. She actually gives me the right pronunciation. What I also like to point out is a good friend of mine told me that you cannot call it Mukjeon, and that's how I actually learned it before. It's called Mukyeonjong. It's actually 3 words. You cannot take 1 word out, and I really apologize about that. If I kind of said it before, I called it the Mukjeon, but you cannot call it Mukjeon. In the Chinese language, I guess it's very important that you put all 3 words together. So she's going to tell us the exact pronunciation, and then she's going to step out, and I'm going to go over some of the techniques, and I'm going to explain them in Cantonese for you, which is something she taught me. She told me the exact pronunciation, so that's how I'm going to teach it to you, and I hope you enjoy it. Sue?
So as George said, Mukyeonjong is the proper way of pronouncing it. Muk means wood, Yan is man in the wide sense of the word, and Jong is model or dummy. So you always have to say Mukyeonjong and not Mukjeon like George had said. So that's the formal way of saying it.
So if I say 108 wooden dummy motions, so I used to say Mukyeonjong Fa Yap Lim Ba.
Yeah, that's the right way of saying it, but you could also say Yatling Bat Sik, which is 108 styles. So Mukyeonjong Yatling Bat Sik.
Okay, very good. So I thank you very much for stopping by just to explain that, because that was very important and it's a big part of the wooden dummy training. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hello, this time we're going to talk about the Mukyeonjong. I'm going to go over some of the applications, and I'm going to go over some of the actual terminology in Chinese Cantonese. Some of the pronunciation might not be exactly like the way you learned them, but I always taught them in Chinese phonetic. Even though in my book I wrote them Chinese phonetic. For example, instead of writing the word Sao, like S-A-U, I wrote it S-O-W, like the word cow. So same exact pronunciation, so that way you're used to the actual, the way to say it. Because a lot of people might pronounce it Su, or for example, if I say Tan Sao, I wrote it like tongue, instead of like tan. A lot of people write it T-A-N. So if you don't understand what the word Tan Sao means, you would read it T-A-N, like tan. So, but it's not tan, it's Tun, T-U-N. Okay, so but in this, that's why I'm in this particular lesson, I'm going to go over some of the terminology, and I'm going to explain the actual footwork that's required to do the wooden dummy, the Mukyeonjong. Okay. So first, there's a few footwork I like to go over. And usually in JKD we do a little bit of different footwork, but in the Wing-Chun system, most of the footwork is straightforward here. So everything is like here, where JKD we stay strong side forward, we do a little bit different. But it's the same exact principle as far as the Baijian is concerned. Okay, the Baijian is on guard position. Now, if you, for example, the first one, which is you'll see a lot, and overly repeated in this particular form, it's called the choma. Choma is you pivot side to side. You pivot on the heels, okay? Right here, on the heels of your feet, okay? So you barely touch, so it's like a windshield wiper, so it goes side to side, it's called choma, okay? Now, if you notice, I do step all the way around, and I come around the leg of the dummy as I strike here. So this is called sitma, or 3-point stepping. Okay, so I step, I'm here like this, I step 1, 2, I come around the dummy, and I press my leg against here. But a lot of times I stay away from that leg because I don't want to break that leg here. So, and a lot of times you'll notice as I come across here, I push here, even though in the Baijian stance, but in the Wing-Chun system, you step forward, it's called Suma, okay, advanced step through. So just like push shuffle in JKD, you push shuffle, where in the Wing-Chun system, I said Suma, which is advanced step through. So a lot of times too, I do which is called Toma. Okay, Toma is forward, I step slide, just like step and slide, Toma. Or Toima, I step and slide back. Okay, so the other footwork I do when I come around the dummy, I turn and face, it's called Loi Sing Wai, inside face the dummy. So Loi Sing Wai. And when I come back to the center, it's called Jing Ma. Okay, so that's the footwork I like you to remember and practice. And it's very important to apply during the wooden dummy form. Okay, so now I'm going to go over some of the actual names so you'll learn them. But I'm not going to go over every single technique because a lot of the actual techniques are overly repeated. We do them on the left side, we do them on the right side, almost the same exact things. So instead of repeating things, I'm just gonna cover some of the bases of it, okay? So first we start here. Well, this is called the Hoi 6 sequence. This open in the stance, come down, Sung jumps out, which is comes down right against the dummy arm. So it goes 1, 2, Sung jumps out. So both hands come down, they press against the dummy. Okay, Sao Kun, retracting fist. You bend and open, this is called Hoi Ma. And you come back to Yi Ji Kim Yin Ma. Go restrain and stance, so character 2, pigeon horse. So I'm going, when I go 1, 2, 3, see this resembles character 2. So I'm pressing down, it's called the Yi Ji Kim Yin Ma. Okay? So I go 1 here, 2, pull back, bend, Hoi Ma, Yi Ji Kim Yin Ma. I place both hands with Wu Sao on the center line of the dummy. So one is in the back, one in the front. A lot of people, they like to go like this. Some people go like this. So I'm not going to be that critical. And I'm not critical myself. I just do whatever fits me when I'm doing the dummy. So I place both hands on the center between the two arms. And I snap forward, which is called Tan Sao. Or some people might call it Yu Jon Sao, which is outward here. But whatever here, depends on how the hand goes. Some people might go thrust forward, but in reality it's called Yu Jon Sao. Thrust and forward. So I'm here, and some people might do Tan Sao, that's fine. So palm up block. I grab with Lap Sao. So make sure you pull. You strike with Chan Dai Jan, which is angle spay palm. It's on the side of the dummy. Okay, so I'm gonna have the camera come around. You can see how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go from here. 1, 2. Then I'm gonna grab the dummy's neck. Usually on a Jeet Kune Do dummy, there's an actual neck. You can actually squeeze and you press down. It's called Chung Gang. So you squeeze in the throat. Chung Gang. You come back here, you turn, Bong Sao. So as you notice, I sink down Bong here. The other hand remains in Wu Sao, which is guarding hand. Now remember we talking about the Sikma step. Come around, Tan, Chan Dai Jan. So those two movements have to happen simultaneously. So when I go 1, 2, 3, Bong, step, slide, come down. You can see my foot presses against the wood here. And this one strikes on the side of the dummy. Some people might be low, some a little bit high. It depends on the height of the dummy, but this dummy is designed really high, so I have to really adjust my structure. Okay? So it goes 2, 3, 1, come around, strike. This hand, I come around, Gan jumps out, which is low jam here, low Gan, high jam. So from this position, come down simultaneously, Sung Ma, you push forward, so you do push shuffle, just like you would do in JKD. So I'm here, 1, Gan jumps out, you flip, it's called Noi Kwan Sao, outside here. Okay, so you go Dai Bong Sao and upside Tan Sao. Here you go. So you go here, 1, flip, Noi Kwan Sao. You step, again, 3-point step, and you come around, Tan Cha Dai Jan. So I'm going to show it to you from this side again. So I'm going to come around. So 1, 2, 3, come around, step, and strike on this side. Come down, Gan jumps out, step through here. You turn, this hand drops down with Hun Sao. 2 fingers pinch, 3 close, and turn, jumps out. Okay? So again, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. You pull Loi Jat Sao, inside jerking hand, the other hand strikes Chan Dai Jan. You pull down Sung Loi Jat Sao, double inside jerking hands, Sung Loi Jat Sao. You keep the elbows in. I mean, depends how big your arms are. If you're skinnier, you might go really tight. If you're bigger, your arms go out more. That's okay too. So 1, Hun Sao, strike, pull, you pop up. Okay, this position. So Sun Pao Jan or Sun Pao Sao. Okay, so double palm up blocks this way. So strikes. Okay, so I'm from this position. Okay, so now you do this on the other side as well. So the only difference is between when you come at the end, after you do the dummy here, this hand goes underneath Chan Dai Jan, this one goes Loi Jat Sao. But it's the same exact principle whether you do it in the left or you do it with the right hand. The only difference, you do Chan Dai Jan on the low, where Chan Jan is on top. And this one is Jing Jan, Chan Jan, that one low, Chan Dai Jan. So you do Chan Dai Jan on the low, here, and you do Loi Jat Sao on this side. Come back, same exact thing here. Okay? So now when I push across with Pak Sao, I do Choma. 2, 3. Other hand stays up here. I pull Lloyd Jats out into my center line. I chop out Fan out. Lloyd Jats out. Chokun. Okay? So pull, chop, hit, down, and up. Okay? So it goes. So I turn, Dai Bong Sao. You can see my hand, I turn, this hand stays here. I protect, this is Dai Bong, means low wing arm deflection. Instead of Bong up here, Lloyd Dai Bong Sao up here. So I turn. I step, I do Pak Sao, Fan Sao low. I step back, Jing Gyo, Jig Tek. You can do a front kick. Some people kick it this way, some people do a side kick. It's up to you, depends how you learn it. Okay? So I'm gonna go 1, back. This other hand stays in Bong. I step, down, jump out. Sung Mai. Remember, see how I'm doing push shuffle? Here. Okay? So same thing. So when I go 1, 2, okay, come down, around. So same thing here. You could do the same exact things on this other side. But with that, what's important is this. Back, hit, strike, pull. I'm not going to go over the whole thing. Now this is where it's important. Same exact techniques that happen in here. Gan jumps out. Now this is the part here. Right? You got the hun and it jumps out. This is your flip up. This is called Kwak Sao. You're spreading the arms outward. Okay? So as you go up, you spread them out. Sun Chandai Jian on the bottom. Come around, Sun Chandai Jian, which is on top. Okay, so 1, oh, Sun Chan Jian, here you go, upward. Okay, then back and up. Okay, so when you come down, 2. Okay, so I'm going to go for the third one. Again, I'm not going to go over every single one. So if you notice, I'm skipping some of the techniques because the reason is overly repeated. Okay? So this one here, Loi Jats out, Bu Sao, jumps out. So when this particular, here you come around, Hin Sao, I'm just showing you some of the positioning. Chandai Jian. Okay? Here, now this is called Popai Jian. 1 low, 1 high. Bong Sao, Popai Jian. Gan Jump Sao, Popai Jian. Here, same exact thing. It's overly repeated over and over. Okay? Which is okay. Okay? I'm only going to give you a little bit of info as far as the actual application goes. Okay? So again, so you do on the other side, same exact thing. Really nothing changes. You come around, Tan Sao, Chandai Jian. This kick here goes outward here. So same thing with what I call Jing Gyo, invisible kick. Okay, Gan jumps out, you come around here, kick on the other side, same thing, everything is the same exact name, not exact technique, same exact name. Okay, like on this one here now, I'm going to do the second part. You can see I do gums out. I'm only going over the ones that are a little bit different. Okay, I do choma as you do gums out here. Okay, I step, push back out, Chandai Jian. Okay, so when you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, again, it's overly repeat. This one you do Pak Sao, Kapie Sao, which is I stomp the knee. Okay, so when I go here, 1, 2, okay, so again, I stomp the knee on the other side. So a lot of the techniques overly repeated. So I'm not going to go over them again. Okay, this is the same things over and over and over. Okay? So now this one Bong, this one's Lap Sao, Pak Sao, hook the leg here, which is you call Buke or piercing leg, and come down here. So I come down, these are punches, which is Chop Kun. Okay, so same thing here. Okay? Alright, so these are some of the techniques that actually required. So we go straight down and over. Okay? Again, a lot of the techniques are overly repeated. Okay? So this here, Tan, you're very familiar with this one. Tanda. Okay, so I go here. Okay, so a lot of the techniques overly repeated. So I can't say that enough. I'm just going over some of the, I'm touching up on the subject, nothing major. Okay? But what I'm going to show you next is the actual application. So stick around and you're going to really enjoy it. Is that okay? Welcome again. I'm going to go over some of the actual applications behind the wooden dummy. The I want to touch up on some things before I go over them. I don't want you to think for 1 minute that I don't love the Wing Chun system. I do love the Wing Chun system. It's my base, and that's what I practice to make my JKD better. What I like to point out first, the wooden dummy, it's a great tool for molding the hand, snapping, reacting, moving simultaneously to an actual attack. So that's the way I practice the wooden dummy. A lot of the actual techniques you could actually apply on an actual application against an opponent, but some things don't work. So you could, quote me on that one, that's fine. You can say, oh, you're full of shit. That's fine with me too. But a lot of the techniques that, like these techniques, will not work. I don't care how good you are, it's not gonna work. Maybe if you could pull them off, my thumb up to you. I mean, I'm so happy for you. But a lot of the techniques, the way I train them, what I do, I pick and choose about the wooden dummy, and what I like about it is the snap, circling, hitting, moving, all the techniques. So it's teaching you to move around your opponent. Now, in a real life situation, if you're ever on the street, no one's gonna come at you, like for example, Brian's gonna go punch me like this. Okay, I'm not gonna go like this. Now, can you please just don't stand still so I can do my movements. The person's coming at you about 100 miles an hour. First, he's gonna throw the jab. See, I missed it. He throws the jab. I mean, it's not reality. So if he comes like this, ooh, that's it, there goes my head. So unless he's coming really slow motion, it looks good when you go 1, 2, like this, it looks pretty good, right? So for drilling purposes, it's an awesome tool to work on, okay? So it's an incredibly great tool to practice, toughen up your hands and work on different techniques and so forth and different entries. But some of the techniques, I don't find them useful. But again, you do your own research and you find out for yourself. So if he comes with the jab and I step here, that's fine. But that might work for me if I'm fast enough, I might get in. But I gotta watch out for this hand, it's not rigid anymore. So if I go here and he comes in and he hooks me here, I'm in trouble. Okay? So same thing, if I'm gonna come around the dummy here and step around, he's not gonna stand there like this and he might turn around and just hit me with the other hand and take me down into a headlock. So these are the things that when I say let's go over some of the application, honestly, I can't even go over some of the applications because I might mislead you somehow. Because what I want you to do is just practice the wooden dummy and grab a partner and work on some of these techniques and see what would actually work for you. Because you're gonna have 216 movements. You can pick and choose and see what works and what doesn't. Because if I say, if he throws a punch and I do this one here, that might work for me. But for you, if he leaves his arm out, if he throws a jab and steps back fast, this is fine, but I might miss him. So now what I want you to come in fast and move back. Oh, see, I ate that. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. So it's very important to practice with a partner, go over over the wooden dummy, practice it, get really good at it, and take some of the techniques and practice it. But remember, every technique you do on the wooden dummy is supposed to be an actual fighting application. So every single move, like for example, hook, strike, here, you come around, you strike, you come around, you strike, you move, you hit, you come around, you strike, you pull down, you strike. So those are all actual movements, okay? So that's some of the techniques that we practice on the wooden dummy might work and some might not work. So, but what's important about the wooden dummy, I need you to really understand, is it builds a great structure. So it teaches you how to move simultaneously and it toughens up your hands and builds a great mold for your hand. So it forces you to keep your elbows in, forces everything to be very nicely structured. So for example, if I'm here like this, instead of going like that, instead of going like that, it's teaching you to keep everything nice and tight. So that's what I love about the wooden dummy. And that's why it's very important that you practice it and you become a better JKD person. So what's important about here now, if we go over some of the applications, every single technique on a wooden dummy actually has an actual application for street fighting. And that's what JKD is all about scientific street fighting. Some of the techniques that you take from the wooden dummy might be way too rigid or too classical or too traditional. What I want you to do, look outside the box and think for yourself, okay, for example, if he throws a jab from this left side, I'm not gonna go like this in reality. Some people might be able to pull it off, but I know I can't. So if he throws here like this, it's too far back. And if you notice, my hand is way. So what I do is I think outside the box. If he throws the jab, I step on the outside. So it's teaching me to, even if I go step here, I step here and I punch here. So the dummy is not teaching you to be like this, so rigid. It's just teaching you how to do actual techniques simultaneously. But no one in reality is gonna throw 1, 2, and keep the arm out, come in again 3, and kick very slow and do this, I'm going to go very slow and gentle. It doesn't work like this in a real fight. So for example, if he throws the jab here, I go here, he comes with the cross, I might be able to pull this off, but he's not going to leave his arm out in reality. You know, if a good MMA guy or a good boxer, he's going to throw the jab cross really fast. He's going to go right through me. So if I end up going like this, I'm going to miss it. So not to say that some of the techniques don't work effectively. A lot of them do work effectively, but you have to modify them and think outside the box. So don't think you're going to be able to apply the same exact technique you do on the dummy. You would on the real person, because it doesn't work that way. So if he throws the jab cross, for example, 1, 2, and I go like this, unless he leaves his arm out for me to hold on to, I might be off balance and fall over. So what I could do is he throws jab cross, I kick here on the outside. So all I do, I move just like him, I kick here. So I move it really fast, but I'm not going to go in reality like this, you know, and put myself off balance. Okay? So what I want you to do is practice the dummy, take every single technique, but every single technique has an actual application. Remember, I'm going to give you a small example. So when I go here, for example, the arms are like this. He throws the first move, we went with a hook. That's from the wooden dummy here. You grab, you strike, come around, you strike here. So every move has an actual application. See? So everything has an actual application. So practice the dummy, then think to yourself, okay, how do I make this technique work? Because if I sit here and explain every single technique, it might work for me, but it's not going to work for you, I guarantee you, because you might be a little bit shorter, taller, bigger than me, so the technique might not work the way I would show it to you. So practice the dummy and find yourself a partner and work over these techniques, but always remember to think outside the box. Never go just like the way we, so jab 1, low, high, come back again, and flip up, and back, and step, and here. Nobody fights like this in reality. And that's the most important part of it. A lot of people, they just hit the dummy. To me, that's not very impressive. You could just do all you want and practice it perfectly and you become super good at it, but can you really actually apply the actual techniques behind the wooden dummy into an actual person and apply them very effectively? Okay, so you could do this 100,000 times, but if you don't understand what's behind it, it's like you actually wasting your time. Okay, all I think about is a rehearsed routine. So if you don't take that rehearsed routine and apply it on a real person, to me it's useless. Okay, so the way I practice it, I practice the wooden dummy. Yes, I might not be perfect at it, but let me assure you, I could apply every single technique on a wooden dummy on an actual person, and I could apply it very effectively. Okay, so let's go over some of the actual techniques. So I'm gonna go from here. We're gonna do this one here, the first one, time here. So what it is, he throws a hook to my face, I stop him with time. That's why I said earlier, instead of doing John South, because what happens if I do John South? Here's what happened. You see, he already hit me in the face, which is on the dummy's not coming in forward. And these are the things I like to point out. So if I go like this, here, John, the punch, if he comes with the hook and I do Byung, here, it's coming right at my face and he's going to knock me out. That's why I said, you might want to do Tan South, so he comes here, outward. So the punch, you see, I could block him, so I'm stopping his punch in place. I strike, lops out here, I strike up, grab the throat, squeeze it. In reality, I might not grab his throat, so I might just strike him outward here to the throat. But I only grab his throat just to push him back. Okay? So I'm going to go from this position, squeeze, come down with bunks up. When will you apply that bunks up? So he throws the jab here, I turn into bunks up. So straight come to my face. If I was like this, he'll come right through and hit me in the face. In reality, as you do, you pivot. Remember we talked about footwork, you choma. But if I'm a JKD guy, I'm not going to sit there, I'm not like this. He comes, I pivot and I come back here with what choice. So I start mixing JKD into it and I make it modified to fit me. Okay? So now we go here, come around. This one here, you're not going to be able to do this and this. I mean, in reality, it's not going to happen. Okay? So if he's to come, I'm going to go on this side so they can see it. If he comes with a punch, I'm not going to do this. It's too slow. Okay? What I would do is I step outward and I strike here. Okay? Instead of, so I slip the jab here and I strike. To do the movement simultaneously, it's almost impossible. You can, but in reality, it's not going to happen in a real person. Here, so because the person's coming here on my face, there's no way I'm going to stop him. He's going to punch me right in the face. So even if I move, I'm here like this. If he leaves his arm out, maybe. But in reality, he's just going to punch in and out fast. see, he's bringing this here, so this becomes useless. See, I'm not putting some of the techniques down, but I'm showing you how you should actually modify them and fit you as an individual to fit you outside on the street. Because some of the traditional techniques might look nice and cool on a dummy, but in reality, then they're not going to work for you. Some Wing Chun guys might be able to pull it off, but it's very hard to. Okay, maybe for me it is. So anyway, so we're going to come around, I strike, I hit here, come back here. So I'm going to step, come down, Ron jumps out. Like no one ever in reality going to go like this. I don't know how I would actually do this. He throws a punch. I have no idea. I couldn't even tell you. How would I block like this? So it's not possible. You're going to do one at a time. So what the dummies teach you can do it simultaneously. Like this. That's what the dummies teach you. But in reality, I'm just going to turn and pivot. If he comes with the other leg, I hear butchers, he's not going to come kick me. He might come down with a low, come down, I block him and come back up. Okay, so I go 1, 2, and come back up. Okay, so I'm going to go here. So I turn, strike here. So if he comes with a punch, I could pull him inward here. Only if he leaves his arm out, my work. But in reality, he's not going to leave his arm out. So I missed it. Okay, so that's the things that I like to point out. Again, try to practice the wooden dummy and try to work around the applications that would actually work for you as an individual. Again, a lot of the techniques don't work in reality. Some of the Wing Chun guys might not agree with me, which is fine. To me, if you're in a street fight and you actually want to apply it on a real person, and if he's a boxer or if he's an MMA guy, it's going to be very difficult to pull simultaneous movements like this. It's not going to happen. So if he throws a jab, it's not going to happen. So if he throws a jab, it's not going to happen. Okay? So try to work on these techniques to work for you as an individual. I couldn't repeat that enough. Okay? So thank you very much, and I hope you understand what I'm trying to get at here. That practice the wooden dummy, sharpen your hands, become really sharp at your techniques, and then work them. Because if I would sit there and give you my own way of doing it, then I'm doing a disservice to you. I want you to actually explore your own way, how to apply the techniques from the wooden dummy into an actual real life situation. Okay, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, comments, negative or positive, please subscribe to my channel, write it down. I'll be more than happy to respond to you. Thank you for watching.